It ended up being maybe more of a nail biter than we all thought, as Iowa leaves Evanston, Illinois, with a 17-12 victory over the Northwestern Wildcats. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. We are inside the News Radio 1040 WHO studios, and what you can't see is Ross Peterson is actually he had to be wheeled out by Sean Roberts because his back hurts because he won a 70-inch TV over the week or this past week, and he lifted it up like some Herculean man that he is, and you strained your back. Now you refuse to go to a chiropractor because you think it's funny science or they just try to upsell you weekly visits. But now you can't move. You can't do anything.
I can do a lot of things. My job is to sit and talk. I'm sitting and talking, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Ross, that was, you look at the two losses that Iowa had, Purdue and Wisconsin back to back. I believe not in one of those games they forced a turnover, right? So, and we've talked about their ability to force turnovers, and that's the differentiator in the game. And tonight, Iowa forces 3 turnovers against Northwestern, and it turns out to be a win. Wasn't pretty at all.
We got a lot of stories to talk about today.
We do.
Alex Padilla is, I believe, first and foremost. The second one is that fact that this was a nail biter. This was a game that was in hand early on, and we needed an interception in the fourth quarter with under 2 minutes left to seal it up. So taking the foot off the gas is Brian Ferentz didn't call a great game today against a bad Northwestern team. Yep. Another storyline, Travis. The remainder of this season, every game, we thought maybe at the end of this game it would be one of two clear-cut stories. One, the Hawks would come out, look great like they did against Maryland, destroy Northwestern, and we'd look at this and go, Wisconsin and Purdue are really good. Hawks are going to win out. Other storyline was Hawks would lose to Northwestern tonight, and we'd all be going, sky is falling. This is going to be the end. Hawks could lose the rest of these games. What happened tonight didn't sway that either way. And I think that all 4 of those games are still up in the air. You will be favored against Minnesota. You're going to be favored against Illinois. You're going to be favored against Nebraska. As of today, I think that's the case. All 3 of those games, Travis, Illinois with a nice win today. Nebraska is playing everybody tough. Minnesota, I don't know what to think about. I don't know. So, and this Hawkeye team, I don't know what to think about. Alex Padilla brought a spark to this team that was so desperately needed. What does that mean? I mean, it was a spark, and it happened for a couple of drives. It didn't persist.
Dustin says, rough win, missed tackle. Might be the last win of the season. I think you never know. I mean, I think they beat Illinois. I do. I'm not sold on the Illinois bit. Which makes me believe in my soul. When I saw that Minnesota was ranked 20th in the college football playoff poll last week, I was kind of surprised by that. I don't know where that came from, but I don't know if I'm sold on Minnesota and Illinois. I'm with you. I mean, people call me the homer because I live in Omaha, right? But I'm telling you, Nebraska's close. Nebraska beats itself. And you're talking about a top 25 defense, top 25 offense. Normally, you're a top 10 team if you have that, right? But they find a way to turn the ball over and screw themselves all the time. That's why I don't think it's going to be a shoe-in like a lot of people think. Gary says this, hey, it's Padilla's job to lose now. Good show by Alex, especially in the first half. Yeah, I mean, where was Arlen Bruce in the second half? Where was Keegan Johnson in the second half? I don't know if I'm going to buy into the Padilla's job to lose now. Kirk Ferentz has an interesting – they're saying it's the injury, right? They're saying he got hurt against Wisconsin. If he's 100% for the next game, what do you do?
Trav, in the next 15 minutes or so, Kirk Ferentz is going to be on with Gary and Ed. They're going to ask him this question. They're going to talk to him about this, and we're probably going to be playing that audio back, whatever he says about this. Be careful. Pump the brakes a little bit about this. This is Padilla's job to lose. I'm with you. That was a spark. It was a much-needed spark. Offense looked much better. He gets the ball out quicker. Yep. All sorts of stuff. I would agree with all that. There might, if there was an injury here, they're going to give the job back to Spencer Petras when he's healthy. And that, again, I'll wait these 20 minutes to see what Kirk Ferentz says.
Charles says, "Hey, it's a win, guys. I think the Hawks tried to run out the clock coming out of halftime, which drives everybody nuts, right?
Yep.
I just don't understand Brian's Ferentz and his logic most of the time, but I'm glad Padilla got his opportunity and he played well."
That's a great comment, Charles. Yes, 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 and yes. I mean, that's exactly what happened. And so that's why it's not fair to – I don't want to say Alex Padilla played great in the first half, but really stunk it up in the second half. The offense changed. We saw some things very early on from this running game that were different also. We're kind of – not different, but just unique for this Hawkeye team. I'm sure we're going to talk about some of that. Brian Ferentz called a different game towards the beginning of in the first half than he did in the second half. And that's traditional. When the Hawkeyes get up like this and they know they can take the air out of the ball and win the football game, they're going to do that. And that's what they did today.
So we're not going to do an entire sound off right now because we want you to wait till we go on the air on News Radio 1040 WHO, and it's the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off. We're scheduled to start at 11 o'clock. We got 2 hours of good radio for you tonight, all right? It's going to be we expect you're going to stay up late with us. We're going to go on the air. We're going to go for 2 hours. We're going to have fun at 284-1040. Lots to talk about, and we're the place to do it, right? It's WHO After Dark. You never know what's going to happen.
Before we sign off, will you ask to come wheel me back in, please?
Sean, can you go wheel Ross back in? He's coming to get you. You geriatric you. You thought we were kidding. We weren't. I'm going to remove Ross from the stream because, well, it just would have sounded bad. And, he's not here anymore. But we'll see you at 11 o'clock tonight on News Radio 1040 WHO for the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off.